Hello, everyone. Just quickly, I wanted to say something. Buzzwords, food for the rubes. What is woke? Woke is a buzzword. Food for the rubes. That's all it is. That's all it ever was. The cult likes to think they define what things mean, or they want to define what things mean, or when they say something, they assume what they define as woke or whatever is established fact, and we must all proceed on that premise. Well, I don't proceed on that premise because I know what a buzzword is. Brought to you by the right-wing grift/terror machine, sponsored by Vlad Putin. I know what that is, and that's all that word is. And the reason I use that word is because that's what the rubes understand. So what one defines as woke, and I don't care what your definition of woke is, personally, anyone's, I might not define it that way. Do you understand that concept, little children out there? Talking to so many people. In other words, your assessments are not my assessments. And I'm going to run with my assessments because my assessments get me to a place where I'm not propping up a convicted felon to grift off the presidency and the richest man in the world who is such a douchebag that no one wants him around. And now we're at the point where all the thugs of the world, the wannabe emperors, the richest man in the world, they want no one saying anything negative about them. We're even at that point now where they're going to try and make that happen. That's real dangerous territory. Anyway, that's not the point of what I'm trying to say. The same way the right-wing grift/terror machine, sponsored by Vlad Putin, puts forth the word woke, or the same way they use the word woke, the cult, is the same way they use words like socialism and communism. You've heard these words since about 1945 and even before, because that's the big game, us against Russia. So Russia was called commies, socialists, etc. Hitler, they try and put forth, the rubes will, and the disingenuous trolls will, that Hitler was a socialist. Why do they do that? One, because they don't know the meaning of the word socialism. They bitch about socialism 2 minutes after they cash their Social Security check. They have no concept of what they're talking about. All they know is they heard this buzzword since they were 2 years old in 1948 or whatever, from the right-wing grift/terror machine in this country. Being a communist or Russian sympathizer was a very serious offense in this country at one time. Rubes. You want to forget all that, right? Now 80% of your party is owned by Russia. And the ones that aren't, Donnie and the boys want to lock them up. That's how they do things in Russia. And you might clap for that. But one day it might be you getting locked up, son. That's how fascism works. That's how dictatorship works. That's what the rubes don't get because they haven't lived it yet. What they're about to. So what one might call woke, I might call empathy or decency. Who knows, depending on the issue at hand we're discussing. Because I'm not about buzzwords, because I'm not a 2-year-old. I don't watch WWF anymore. I grew up. I don't take Alex Jones seriously anymore. I grew up. When I was a young man, I looked at it for a minute. Then I realized he was a snake oil salesman. Now he's joining forces with the biggest globalist of them all. That other buzzword that Alex and you rubes love to use every day on George Soros and the Clintons and everybody. Meanwhile, look at you now, son. You didn't hear none of your own warnings. Because that wasn't the real agenda. The real agenda was just, my football team winning. Because that's the level you're on. Intellectually. So he didn't really care about any of that anyway. Or sex trafficking, because Donnie's all up in connections with Epstein and others. Elon too. I read you the text message. Didn't care about that either. I know you didn't care about that. Those were Vlad's buzz points and buzzwords and your buzzwords so your team could win down at the peasant level. So what one would call socialism, I might call fascism. Why? Because I know what I'm talking about. I'm not stupid. Just because Adolf Hitler used the word socialist in his party description don't mean he was a socialist, son. Propaganda. Lies. In other words, Adolf Hitler was a fascist. He wasn't a Republican, conservative, anything. He was just a fascist. And started off with a white nationalist movement and demonized some people called the Jews. And you know what happened next. Leader of China is a dictator. Fascist. Not socialist, not communist, fascist. Leader of Russia is a fascist, not a communist, not a socialist. Anyway, the point is, you same people that have been screaming about the commies, the socialists, the liberals, the globalists for decades, telling us what woke is. Well, one of your oligarchs is a gay man. A lot of people would consider that woke. One of the oligarchs you just gave your country to. I don't know. No problem with that, right? And the other oligarch you just gave your country to is a pure globalist. The purest of them all. Richest of them all. Don't bother you still, right? You still want to try and school me, right? Here's the thing about people in the cult schooling other people. You haven't proven smart enough to do that, son. You know why? Because if you were smart enough to do that, you wouldn't be in the cult. You wouldn't be propping up a grifter. You wouldn't be putting your name on it. Because there will be consequences for putting your name on it, unfortunately. Which is what my warnings were about. Trying to stop those consequences for as many as I could. Because I saw so many going down that path, and they still going down it because they think they the wise one. I know. We'll see in the end who the wise one is, I guess. You or me. And by you, I mean, I'm talking to thousands of people. And, you know, these oligarchs want to censor these mobsters, criminals, oligarchs, certain politicians. They want to censor all this negative, in quotes, speech about them, which I call the truth. Because not only do they want to commit their crimes and steal every dollar, etc., they want you to dare not speak of it and point it out. And treat them just like they're just nice, upstanding citizens. That's what every thug wants as he commits his crimes and terrorizes the community. He thinks he's walking around with respect. No, he's walking around being feared. And usually there's one person that doesn't fear him, some underling that's ready to take him out. That's the head mobster life. And it's nothing to be proud of to be feared like that. Because you're doing evil deeds in the community. It's just an example. Anyway, no one in the cult can convince me good is evil and evil is good. You're not going to succeed in that quest, and it's already too late. People, you won. You got your, I don't know, MAGA utopia. It's coming. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. So what are you mad about? And Elon's going to get his oligarch utopia. All the CEOs should be happy. All the kings and queens of the earth should be happy. All the politicians. All the rubes. They're going to get their MAGA utopia now that Donnie's back in. I don't know why he didn't give it to you in the first 4 years, but whatever. You're going to get it now. It's going to be fun. Anyway, the point with this video is I don't allow right-wing grift / terror machine or the rubes that embolden it and support it because they don't know any better. Or maybe they're just like them. I don't know. It depends on the person. I don't allow them to define these buzzwords. And that's all these are, buzzwords for the rubes. I don't fall for any of them. Again, I'm not one of those people that, was running around yelling socialist and commie just because the right wing in this country told me that in the early 80s and stuff. I knew something was strange about it. And how it was used toward one political party in this country. Because the rubes don't know what socialism is. They don't know what woke is. They don't know what anything is. All they are doing is parroting the buzzwords. Woke doesn't exist. And as far as commies, as far as sympathizing with Russia and that whole socialist communist agenda according to the rubes, look at all of you now doing Vlad's work literally, handing your country to him, spouting Russian talking points, saying things like, I'd rather be Russian than a Democrat. Do you hear yourself, son? And you dare call yourself a patriot, I bet. You don't know what patriotism is either. You know about your team winning, and when your team doesn't win, you get mad. That's it. Doesn't go any further than that for you. And you want to try and define all the buzzwords. I don't. Because I'm 1,000 light years above all that. You don't think I don't know what a propaganda buzzword is? Again, people in the cult, man, just get out while you can. I don't want to debate you. There's no point. The coup was successful. You should be happy. Go get a cake, light some candles. You won. And now you're going to see what winning's like. Have a good day.